Hello, my name is Alan McGraw. Today I will be speaking about documents and instruments affected by or made necessary by the increase in horizontal drilling. Now, as most of you are well aware, the Permian Basin economy has been booming recently. One major reason for this is the increase in horizontal drilling going on in the area. Horizontal drilling has allowed us to economically produce oil and gas reserves that it would have been impossible to produce economically before. With these good things that go along with horizontal drilling also come some complex issues that you have to deal with. The ones I will be speaking about today are legal documents and instruments which landmen deal with on an everyday basis. The three I will be speaking on specifically are the Joint Operating Agreement, or JOA for short, the Production Sharing Agreement, or PSA for short, and also pooling agreements. Now first, the Joint Operating Agreement is the most common agreement used in the oil and gas industry today. The JOA is what defines how parties will deal with each other upon drilling and producing said well, or in any well. In the process, you will speak with representatives from companies will speak with each other and line out the terms of their agreement with each other, such as who will produce the wells, who will operate the wells, what amount they can charge the other parties, things of that nature. Now, the standard form in use these days for vertical wells, not horizontal wells, has been the 1989 model form, which is put out by the American Association of Professional Landmen. Now, they have also recently put out a 1989H model form, which takes into account the differences in horizontal wells. It adds language that definitions for terms that are new and specific to horizontal wells, such as lateral wells, lateral completion, horizontal length, lateral length, that type of thing, and it clarifies any ambiguities that may be there with those terms. Also, another thing you will need to remember is that you have to specify the depths involved and also the length involved, and make sure that all parties that own under those depths and for however long those depths run, that they are contacted and that they sign on with this agreement. Now, the next agreement I'm going to talk about is the Production Sharing Agreement, or PSA. Now, the PSA is not a very new agreement, but it is relatively new to the horizontal drilling side. What a production sharing agreement does is it sets up who is going to own what under any given well. So it will lay out what the mineral interest owners will own, what the royalty interest owners will own, what the working interest owners or owners of the well itself will own. And it prevents there from being any issues in the future regarding ownership or regarding who should own what percentage of the production out of a given well. And this document is extremely helpful in preventing future litigation or any future problems between owners in a dispute over who should own what. This should clear that up. Lastly, I'm going to speak on pooling agreements. Now, pooling agreements would be the easiest way to go over production sharing agreements if possible, but most oil and gas leases do not allow you the right to pool more than 160 acres at a time, which with horizontal wells is likely not going to work unless you're drilling a very short lateral. Normally 160 acres would take up, if it's in the form of a square, would take up about a quarter or a half a mile, and the laterals we are discussing are normally about 1.5 miles long, so that is not going to work. So if you have one that allows you, if you have an oil and gas lease that allows you to pool larger than that, then it may be a good thing to go ahead and try and pool that acreage through the Railroad Commission and get it officially done that way and have everybody sign on. That would be the easiest route to go, but most likely you will end up having to deal with a production sharing agreement, which is practically the same thing, just a longer version, more time-consuming version of way of doing things. Anyway, in the end, to sum this all up, there are several documents that have been hugely affected by horizontal drilling, but as long as you keep a sharp eye out and realize what you need to know or what you need to be on the lookout for, I think you'll be fine and you will do great for your company and you will put your company in a better spot in the end. Thank you all for listening.